The All England club had just witnessed something extraordinary. A 21-year-old from Quezon City, a country with no real tennis tradition, had walked on a center court and done the unthinkable. She had dismantled the defending champion, Iga Swiatek, in straight sets. 7-6, 6-2. The crowd was on its feet. The tennis world was in shock. And then, from a most unexpected source, came a message that would send shockwaves through the sport. Billie Jean King. 12 Grand Slam singles titles. 39 Grand Slam titles overall. The woman who had fought for gender equality in sports, who had beaten Bobby Riggs in the battle of the sexes, who had spent her entire life championing the cause of women's tennis. She had been watching, and she had something to say. "I've been watching her for a few years now," King said during the BBC's Wimbledon coverage. Her concentration. Today, she was so poised. The tennis world leaned forward. Here was a legend, one of the greatest champions in the history of the sport, delivering her verdict on the young Filipina sensation. But King wasn't done. She went on to reveal the details of a conversation she had with Iga earlier in the day. "We had a great chat because we both grew up with our brothers, and I had a younger brother who played 12 years of professional baseball, and she's such close friends with her brother. And that's what it was for me too. So we kind of hit it off there," King said. And we talked about her grandfather a little bit. The conversation was warm, personal, and revealing. But it was what King said next that would capture the attention of the tennis world. She praised Ila's groundedness, her gratitude, her remarkable poise for someone so young. "She's so grounded for her age, and she's so thankful. She has such gratitude, already at a young age," King said. But then came the words that would spark controversy. "It's so big for the Philippines. I am so happy for her and the country," King said. "I have never seen anything like it." And then, a warning wrapped in hope. "I just hope every child, both boys and girls, because they talk about girls, I was thinking, why not boys? I hope they take up the sport. It's the sport of a lifetime. It's also the healthiest sport in the world. So why not?" The message was clear. Alex Iga had become more than a tennis player. She had become a symbol, an inspiration, a beacon of hope for a nation of over 110 million people. But with that status came a weight, a responsibility to stay focused on the game that had brought her this far. And King's words hinted at a concern, that the young Filipina might be getting distracted by the very fame she had earned. Welcome to the story of a legend's praise, a champion's warning, and a young woman who proved that she could handle both. Billie Jean King knows what it takes to win Wimbledon. She has done it, 6 times in singles, 10 times in doubles. She knows what it feels like to walk on a center court, to face the pressure, to rise to the occasion. She knows the weight of expectation, the glare of the spotlight, the demands of being the face of a sport. But when she looks at Alex Iga, she sees something different. She sees a player who carries a weight that even she cannot fully comprehend, and a player who is transforming the sport in ways no one could have predicted. King has been watching Ila's rise closely. She saw the young Filipina's breakthrough at the Miami Open, where Iga stunned the tennis world. She watched as Iga took down Grand Slam champions and climbed the rankings. She witnessed Ila's historic run at Wimbledon, where the Filipina defeated the defending champion on center court. And when Iga achieved that victory, King was among the first to congratulate her. What treat to spend some time with Alex Iga, fresh off her historic win at Wimbledon today, King wrote on Instagram. She is the first Filipino to reach the round of 16. Such an inspiration for kids in the Philippines and all over the world. Keep going for it, Alex. It was a simple message, but its impact was profound. Iga had grown up hearing about King's legacy. She knew about the battle of the sexes, about King's fight for equality, about her role in shaping the sport that Iga now dominated. Now, her idol was acknowledging her in the most public way possible. But King's praise was not just about Iga's tennis ability. It was about her impact, about what she represents, about the phenomenon that no one could have predicted. What King was referring to was the unprecedented support that Iga has generated. The Filipina sensation has become a symbol, a source of pride for a nation of over 110 million people. a gathering point for the Filipino diaspora scattered across the globe. "We had a great chat," King said. "She's so grounded for her age, and she's so thankful. She has such gratitude, already at a young age." But King also saw the challenges ahead. She knew that fame could be a double-edged sword. She knew that the weight of expectation could crush even the most talented players. "It's so big for the Philippines. I'm so happy for her and the country," King said. "I have never seen anything like it." The warning was subtle, but it was there, a reminder to stay focused, to keep working, to never lose sight of what had brought her to this moment. To understand why King's words carried so much weight, you have to understand the phenomenon that Alex Iga had become. It was not just that she was a good tennis player. It was something far bigger, far more profound. Iga had become a symbol. She had become a source of pride for a nation of over 110 million people. She had become a gathering point for the Filipino diaspora, a way for people scattered across the globe to connect with their heritage, to celebrate their identity, to feel united in a shared purpose. The numbers were staggering. In Washington, tournament chairman Mark Ein had revealed that at least 80%, if not more, of the ticket requests were about one player, Alex Iga. In Toronto, the phenomenon reached new heights. Tournament director Carl Hale revealed that Iga had generated upwards of 5,000 ticket sales, making the 2,800-seat grandstand court too small for her appearance. Tickets for her first match sold out within hours, and they were forced to move her to center court due to her popularity. In Cincinnati, the same scenes played out. Ticket prices for Iga's matches surged by nearly 70 overnight. The average ticket price on center court for her match against Amanda Anisimova was 160 higher than just 2 nights earlier. And despite the price hike, every single seat was sold out. The phenomenon was so intense that it was dubbed Iga-mania. At the Australian Open, long lines of fans had wrapped around walkways outside her matches. In Abu Dhabi, Doha, and Wimbledon, the same scenes played out. Everywhere she went, she packed stadiums and drew massive crowds. Even Nike had taken notice. The sportswear giant released a new 42 black t-shirt dedicated to Iga. It sold out almost immediately. Meanwhile, merchandise for other Nike stars like Carlos Alcaraz and Jannik Sinner remained available. Iga had achieved something that even the biggest names in tennis couldn't manage. The U.S. Open had recognized Iga's importance, naming her one of the official players to watch. She was set to compete in the prestigious Stars of the Open exhibition under the lights of Arthur Ashe Stadium. She had secured a wild card into the mixed doubles draw alongside world number 4 Felix Auger-Aliassime, and she was projected to enter the women's singles main draw as the highest-seeded Filipino singles player in a Grand Slam in history. But with all that attention came a question. Could Iga stay focused on what mattered most? King's comments about Iga were not just praise. They were also a warning. "It's so big for the Philippines. I'm so happy for her and the country," King said. "I have never seen anything like it." The words were a recognition of Iga's impact, but they also hinted at a concern. The young Filipina had become a phenomenon. She was carrying the hopes of a nation on her shoulders, and that weight could be crushing. King's warning was subtle, but it was clear. Iga needed to stay focused on her game. She needed to remember what had brought her to this moment. She needed to block out the noise and keep working. I just hope every child, both boys and girls, because they talk about girls, I was thinking, why not boys? I hope they take up the sport. It's the sport of a lifetime. It's also the healthiest sport in the world. The message was about more than just tennis. It was about legacy. King wanted Iga to be more than just a player. She wanted her to be a role model, an inspiration, a force for change in the sport. So why not? The question was a challenge, a reminder that Iga's journey was about more than just winning matches. It was about inspiring a generation. It was about changing the sport forever. But it was also a reminder that the journey was far from over. There was still work to be done. There were still matches to be won. There was still a legacy to be built. Iga has never been one to shy away from a challenge. When King's words reached her, she took them to heart. The Filipina star has been open about her determination to keep improving, to keep pushing, to never settle for moral victories. I think my main focus is to win more matches, Iga had said. Obviously, the priority is the level that I produce in big matches, and I think if I'm able to reach those levels at a consistent pace, then of course, the ranking will follow. Her coach, Joan Bosch, has also emphasized the importance of staying grounded. Despite Ila's meteoric rise, Bosch has insisted that the focus should remain on the process, not the results. The goal is always to be better than the year before, and if you do that, most probably your ranking will be almost the same or better, Bosch said. All these things are a progression, a process. Iga has also spoken about the pressure of being a national icon. I take so much pride in representing my country, she said. It makes what I do bigger than myself, and it adds meaning to what I do. But she has also acknowledged the weight that comes with that responsibility. There are moments where it's heavy, she said. There are moments where it's fun. But at the end of the day, I am also aware that it's a crazy experience, so I'm just trying to take it all in. August 2026, New York City, Flushing Meadows, the U.S. Open. The stands are filled with Filipino flags, the same sea of red, white, blue, and yellow that followed Iga from Washington to Toronto to Cincinnati and now to New York. The fans are loud, proud, and unwavering. They have traveled from across the United States, from Canada, from the Philippines itself, to witness history. Iga walks onto the court with the confidence of a champion. She has been here before. She knows what it takes to win, and she is ready to make a statement. Her opponent is a dangerous player, but Iga is not intimidated. She has faced tougher opponents, overcome greater odds, and emerged victorious. She has beaten Iga Swiatek at Wimbledon. She has beaten Jessica Pegula in the Washington final. She has beaten Zheng Qinwen, Leylah Fernandez, Alina Svitolina, and Naomi Osaka. From the very first point, Iga takes control. Her serve is dialed in, her ground strokes are precise, and her movement is effortless. The crowd roars with every point, their chants echoing through the stadium. The Filipina sensation is playing like a woman possessed. The match is a battle. As predicted, her opponent fights back, pushing Iga to her limits. But this time, Iga does not waver. She does not let the pressure rattle her. She does not let the ghosts of past losses creep back into her mind. She does what champions do. She regroups. She refocuses. And she unleashes a barrage of tennis that her opponent simply cannot handle. The victory is sealed. Iga advances, her U.S. Open campaign off to a winning start. The crowd erupts. The flags wave. And the tennis world takes notice. Billie Jean King's words were both a celebration and a warning. She had seen the greatness in Iga, but she had also seen the challenges ahead. "Keep going for it, Alex," King had written. Those words were not just a message of support. They were a challenge, a reminder that the journey was far from over, that there was still work to be done, that the legacy was still being written. Iga has risen to that challenge. She has continued to improve, continued to win, continued to inspire. She has become a symbol of hope for millions of Filipinos around the world. And King, who had spent her entire life fighting for the sport, saw in Iga the future of women's tennis. Such an inspiration for kids in the Philippines and all over the world, King had said. The message was clear. Iga had become more than a tennis player. She had become a movement. And with that came a responsibility to stay focused, to keep working, to never lose sight of what mattered most. From the cracked courts of Quezon City, where tennis was a luxury, to the center courts of New York, where she had become the biggest draw in women's tennis, Alexandra Iga had proven that champions don't just win matches. They change the sport forever. And Billie Jean King, the legend who had called her an inspiration, knew it all along. From the cracked courts of Quezon City to the center courts of New York, where she had become the biggest draw in women's tennis, Alexandra Iga had proven that champions don't just win matches. They change the sport forever. And Billie Jean King, the 12-time Grand Slam champion who had called her an inspiration, knew it all along. "Keep going for it, Alex," King had written. And she was right. The tennis world was stunned. But Alex Iga was just getting started.